What's the good word, Josh? It's your boy DKB here. So, Robert Saleh's safety to linebacker experiment finally seems to be getting some return on investment. Jamien Sherwood is primed to earn himself a starting linebacker position this season, assuming there's not a world where Kwon Alexander comes down on his asking price a little bit and the New York Jets opt to sign him just for more secure depth, right? But realistically, it seems like the coaching staff may view Jamien Sherwood as a legit replacement for a guy like Kwon Alexander. Kind of a bold move, but if you're going to bet on an in-house developmental option, I'd be hard-pressed to look at a better position than linebacker where you've seen what Robert Saleh and Jeff Ulbrich have done at their previous stops with developing guys. So, former 5th round 2021 draft pick, keep in mind, originally played as a safety, immediately came in. We got the announcement he was going to be playing linebacker to fit that player, physical archetype that Robert Saleh really loves and wants to exploit as part of his linebacker unit. And so realistically, year 3 is probably the year if we're going to find a consistent performer. It was going to happen between Jamien Sherwood and Hamza Nasruddin. So this seems to be what's eventually, what Jamien Sherwood has been evolving to within his defense. He's gotten experience before. Keep in mind, in 2021, as a rookie, he went out and replaced C.J. Mosley in the middle of the defense for 4 games. Started those 4 games. Didn't look completely terrible, but obviously some red flags all over his game tape. But serviceable considering what he was immediately brought in and asked to do. And the fact that they still trusted him to make the signal calls says quite a bit. And there's actually some quotes that we got from Robert Saleh and C.J. Mosley that speak to what Jamien Sherwood is coming into in terms of developing into his own player that can contribute strongly to this defense. So he's going to have an opportunity on the strong side, again, replacing Kwon Alexander within his defense. One where this isn't necessarily the hugest concern either. Again, I trust the development that Saleh and Jeff Ulbrich have, and Mike Rutenberg, who I believe is the linebacker coach. I trust the development that they've been able to do with these guys. 2, Kwon Alexander played a total of 559 snaps last season, good for just about 49% of the snaps. Realistically, the New York Jets, they play a lot of 2 linebacker formations, and when they go to base defense, then you can shift Jamien Sherwood into there. Maybe they'll play a little bit more of that with some leads, some different things of that nature, but it's not like they're replacing, 1,200 snaps here. So 600, give or take. We don't know what the Aaron Rodgers effect on the offensive side of the ball will look like in terms of the defense playing more, playing less. So that's essentially what we're looking at here. 600 snaps for Jamien Sherwood and or another linebacker or 2 to kind of fill in. He tears his ACL in 2021 after starting and replacing C.J. Mosley for those 4 snaps. Again, a lot of red flags, but you felt comfortable with the fact that he was able to go out there and call the plays. The defense didn't look completely lost with him out there. You just seen that there wasn't the same element, same presence of C.J. Mosley, which, find any rookie that realistically is going to be able to cover players, replace players like that, right? He's gotten work before as a strong side linebacker, as a Mike linebacker, as we talked. Mosley has already mentioned him as being a guy that's going to look, that he's looking to have heavy contributions, not only on the actual defensive team, but in the special teams area as well, where he's been a core player in 2022. And when you take a look at things from an athletic profile standpoint, I did find it interesting. I compared him to this year's rookie in Zaire Barnes, who had a RAS score of 9.12, so one of the better ones that you'll find for sure at the linebacker unit. And Jamien Sherwood isn't an exceptional athlete, even moving over to the linebacker spot, but his physical traits that are going to translate the best is going to be his vertical jump, his broad jump, his 10-yard split, shuttle, and 3-cone. And basically, I kind of look at him as a guy that's not going to, jump off tape with athletic traits anyways. He seems like one of those guys where his instincts and his reactive capabilities really impress you more than anything else. So taking a look at some of the things we've heard from Robert Saleh and C.J. Mosley And keep in mind, I think this coaching staff has liked Jamien Sherwood for a while. They gave Saleh even gave him the nickname the Florham Park Strangler in his rookie season because he was impressed with his arm length and said that once he gets his arms or his hands on you, it's pretty much a wrap. So they already felt like he was a strong tackler, strong presence in terms of being able to go out there and handle the run and pass capabilities. And so Robert Saleh mentioned towards the end of OTAs this year, he looks really good though. He's very smart. He's very comfortable in the system and he's executing at a high level. So again, excited to get pads on. Not that I'm even worried about his physicality and stuff, but just excited for real football, defending the run, and just to see the steps that he's taken. So within this defensive scheme that Robert Saleh employs, all the linebackers are going to have some kind of question mark about their ability to stop the run. This is really what separates the linebackers we've seen him develop in the top tier players across the league from just average guys and people that really won't, make it past 2 to 3 years in the league, is the ability to go out there and stop the run against these guys that are 240, 250 plus pounds when you think about some of these running backs coming in. And even just from like a wide receiver, tight end perspective, some of the heavier guys around the league, some of the more shifty and elusive guys, you don't want them just bouncing off them or trying to do arm tackles left and right. Not only are you asking for injuries, but you're asking for major lapses in the defense because they don't have fundamental tackling ability. So we'll speak about that when we get into the stats, but I think that'll be less of a concern than we think. As far as CJ Mosley goes, a guy that has seen him develop now for heading into year 3, 2 years, and you've seen him replace you for 4 games. Not only that, you've seen all the preparation and stuff that's gone into this. So he mentioned at the end of OTAs, I'm just seeing growth, him trusting his game. He knows all the positions. He knows his defense inside and out. His preparation is top level as well. Just another young player that has grown every single year, going into year 3 now with this defense, learning this system, being in the NFL. Now it's just time for him to make those plays on the field. So going into this camp, we got a lot of players that's looking to break out and do some good things and get some playing time. So he's definitely going to be one of our players that we're going to have to rely on defense and special teams. So maybe this is admission. He doesn't think Kwon Alexander will lower his asking price and will return to the New York Jets, or this really could be a confidence boost for Jamien Sherwood and what he can be for this defense that we feel like is Super Bowl bound and definitely Super Bowl ready. But I don't know. It's odd. You're definitely there's a lot of risk here, right? You're asking for a guy, even though we're only looking to replace 600 snaps. It's at less than 200 career snaps so far in his 2 years. Only 22 games in the last 2 years that he's been able to play. And now you want him to step into what's going to be still a vital role within this defense for us. So if there's going to be any position, once again, that I feel comfortable in, it's going to be this linebacker spot. I don't want to say minimal snaps, but not 1,200 snaps that we're looking for from him. Also, we've seen this kind of natural progression from him. And 2022 is interesting, by the way. So while we get into his stats, as we mentioned, 22 games in 2 years, started the 4 games in 2021, half a sack, 31 tackles, 20 of those solo. He's had a tackle for loss, a quarterback hit, and that's it for his career so far within those 22 games. When you take a look at this 2022 season, he only played 25 snaps for the defense. Again, he was a core special teamer, and again, this kind of ended up being like a redshirt sophomore year for him in essence. He was so efficient in his 25 snaps. If he would have kept this up for a season, he would be, he definitely would end up having a Hall of Fame game at some point. So 25 snaps, to put it in perspective, let's just say that's a half of football. This man got 10 tackles in 25 snaps. In other words, every 2.5 snaps he took, he had a tackle. And these weren't just meaningless tackles. It's not just him being around the ball and getting assists and he's getting lucky. 5 of his tackles went for less than 2 yards, and 8 of his 10 tackles were stopped for first down conversion. So not only was he getting into the right position, he was diagnosing the plays effectively, and he was able to go out there and beat some tackles, beat some guards to the spot, beat some tight ends in order to take his man down. And you just got a guy that ultimately, it really did seem like the film study, the recognition of what he was seeing formation-wise, player alignments, all of that good stuff. He was able to diagnose. He was able to effectively handle. There was even snaps that I've seen where he was able to go out there and set the edge to a certain degree, cutting runs back inside where they were getting swallowed up by guys like Quentin Williams, Nathan Shepard, all of that good stuff. Quincy coming back to help shut things down for him. So I'm really excited for what this guy can actually end up becoming in this defense. I was pretty concerned seeing that Hamza Nasruddin didn't really pan out whatsoever for us, even as a special teams player. He's struggling and flailing a bit out there. So we're 1 for 2 right now. Jamien Sherwood seems like he could be a potential star of the future within this defense. Hamza Nasruddin, probably a guy that's getting walked out the door this season. But you can't nail them all, right? The fact that we got one of the two definitely excites me. I'll be curious if we try to keep this experiment up to a certain degree, and maybe we continue to try to snag a safety that we can convert on day 3. Maybe we just opt for some of these guys that Robert Saleh really loves, like Zaire Barnes in day 3. Not sure, but let me know what your guys' thoughts are. Jamien Sherwood versus Kwon Alexander. Which one would you prefer? All things equal. I think most people give it to Kwon Alexander, but you never know. And I'll catch you guys again. Peace.